How are you, ladies? Welcome to AfWID 2019. I'm Lebogang Chaka, and I'm going to spend the morning with each and every one of you today. So let's practice our languages, right? Before we sing the national anthem, let's say bonjour, hola, salama, jambo, maharban. So now you all know how to greet each other, right? Ladies, I am going to ask that we all stand up so that when we open this event, we have a moment to reflect and sing the national anthem of the African Union. I'm also going to ask that as hosts, that we welcome you to South Africa and sing our national anthem. I will now hand over to the Wits Choir.
Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bonds that frame our destiny. Let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on the earth. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun.
Thank you very much to our AfWID choir. I think they deserve another round of applause. They're an award-winning choir from one of our universities in South Africa. They also travel the continent and the world. They also give back in community outreach in terms of pushing their music. So their music is their tool to change this continent. Ladies and gentlemen, the AfWID choir. I am now going to ask for the logistics part of the event, which is not so interesting, but I have to tell you. So to do the security part of it, I'm going to ask Michelle to please come closer. And in the meantime, I'm going to do the other logistics. Before I go anywhere, if you need headphones, please go outside at the door and you'll get translation. There's about 6 languages that have been catered for. We all know how to speak them because we just greeted each other in that language, right? So I don't know if there's still need for translation services, but just in case. Okay? The second announcement is that if you go outside this door that I'm pointing at, if you go towards your left, my right, you'll find a ladies. There's a refreshments desk as well outside. The hashtag for today is AfWID19. If you look in your programs, it says 2019. There's been a correction. It's AfWID19. We do encourage you to tweet. There are all the media handles. Tag yourself, take a picture. We cannot just be in this room and not share with the rest of the women on the continent what we are doing and what we're about. So please tweet. Michelle, do I see you? I don't see Michelle. Where is she? Oh, welcome. Michelle is just going to give us a brief security procedures update.
Good morning, everybody. I'm not too sure of the other languages, but bonjour, hola, that's all I know, sorry. Right, my name is Michelle, I'm the Birchwood Safety Officer. First of all, I'd like to welcome all of you to the Birchwood Hotel, to South Africa and to Boksburg. The following applies to the safety and security of the hotel. The doors that you entered will be your emergency evacuation, should we have an evacuation. We're not planning a drill in the center, but if the alarm goes off, please make sure that the lady sitting next to you is at the assembly point. Now, to get to the assembly point, you would go out the doors, out the glass doors to my right-hand side, all the way around the building. The assembly point is just behind this building. We do have emergency services on site. We also have a wellness clinic as well. Those venues are in the International Center, which is just outside the grass area. We have firefighters on standby. We also have the ambulance as well, should you need it. We are, as I said, we're not planning a drill, but please evacuate once the alarm goes off. We do have procedures where the evacuation marshal will assist you evacuating to the assembly point. We will also have evacuation marshals throughout the hotel. Are there any questions so far? No? Okay. Well, as I've been said, the bathrooms are on my right-hand side. For those of you who do smoke, please make sure that the venue is not this area where you smoke in. The smoking area is outside. If that's all, then have a good conference.
Thank you, Michelle. Before we go into the conference, one of the important things that AfWID stands for is non-partisan, non-religious. It is a home for each and every one of us. But all of us, or some of us, have something that we connect to. So at this moment, I'm going to ask that Me Amina comes on stage so that she can lead us in the Muslim devotion. I would also like Me Vela to also come close so that as soon as Me Amina is done, she can then lead us in the traditional prayer. We ask that you Just remain, thank you. You can remain seated if you want. You can stand up as you feel. You can do whatever you feel called to do. This is a moment where we learn, we share, we connect, and most importantly, we respect the woman next to you that's partaking in the spirituality. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace be upon you and the mercy and the blessings of the Almighty. Ukuthula kube nani. Khotso ibe liluna. We talk about prayer, and I wonder if we fully understand. I believe we do, because especially in Africa, all of us are born in homes that know there is a mighty or an almighty power that is responsible for our presence in this world. I will explain prayer as an invocation that seeks to initiate a rapport between a human being and his maker, or devotion, as it is written in our program, as speaking with piety, observance, commitment, dedication, and submission to the higher power. That's what devotion is. And interfaith, I will explain it because we're doing an interfaith prayer. I will explain it as everything that relates to religion, where religion agrees to come together and work together for a common purpose, that is to lead humanity to being human. For in this world, as human beings, we're spirits trying to be human. Hence, we make so much errors. I'm explaining all this for reasons that normally, especially here in South Africa, we have a tendency to shorten the prayer. But it is not shortened by the person who offers it. It is shortened by the person who is outside of the prayer. Prayer cannot be controlled externally. It has an internal locus of control. Why do we do this in South Africa especially? We have a bad tendency of not keeping time. My program said we begin this program at 8:30. We started it at 9. May it not be God that loses his time because we are late. And may we never be late again. Let's respect time. There's only one 8:30 in a day of 24 hours. If the program begins at 8:30, let it begin at 8:30. That is integrity. Otherwise, we talk about people not being people of ethics and integrity. It is our fault because we omit speaking when these little things happen. I cannot pray until I've confessed. That's my confession. I'm not happy when Africans don't keep time and they say it's African time. To pray today, I will pray in the context of the purpose of AfWID. AfWID seeks to bring change in the context of African women coming together and working for change. Inshallah. When I say inshallah, I mean, like Isa alayhi salam said, not by my will, but by your will. By the will of the Almighty to bring change. We cannot bring change unless we're honest. Africa is criticized by the entire world. Some leaders of the world blatantly speak down on our leaders and say we have leaders that are not honest, that are not accountable. But it is not leaders. It is us Leadership is not about people who have been appointed to lead. It is about people who have appointed those people to lead. Because you have to state what you want them to lead you in. If you don't give them a mandate, what must they lead and do? Idle minds are a devil's workshop. So the problem in Africa is not our leaders, it is ignorance. We as Africans have to learn from our mother, Zanele Mbeki, who has decided to have people dialogue. People will heal only when they dialogue. People will find direction only when they dialogue. There is no way that we can address people from podiums and hope people understand how to live. We make a living every day by going to work, but we don't know how to live. I would like us to pray that we go out when we finish here as AfWID, to go to our communities and begin to dialogue. Find out from our people what do they want and take it to our leaders to say this is what the people want. Only when our leaders don't do what our people want will we say our leaders are not accountable. Until we have dialogued and we know the people down there on the ground, what they want, we can pray as we want, we can fight as we want, we can toy as we want. We are not going to achieve a thing. Thank you, May Zanele, for dialogue. May it be our ethos. Let us open our palms and pray. When we pray with our palms open, we mean we are receiving what we are asking for. When a father or a mother gives a child something in South Africa, my country, a child opens both arms with expectation to receive, and indeed, they receive on both palms. So we open both palms and we look into them as I pray. But if I ask you to repeat, please do repeat. Let us look into our palms and pray. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I seek refuge in the Almighty from the devil, the outcast. In the name of the Almighty, the beneficent, the merciful. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim. Waladdallin. Praise be to God, the Lord of the world, the beneficent, the merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we ask for help. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Show us the straight path. May Africans please repeat, show us the straight path. Show us the straight path. Show us the straight path. The path of those whom you have favored. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. Thank you, Ma'amina, for that wonderful prayer. And, they say when an elder's in the room, and we misbehave, they must bring us back into order. So she just gave us a little bit of, in West Africa, we'd say pepe, just a little bit. So tomorrow we are going to be on time, right, ladies? Yes. Thank you, Mama Mina. I now hand over to Mamvela to please welcome our forefathers and foremothers of this very continent.
Camagwini izihlwele ezigcwele phakathi kwale ndawo. Dumelang, sanibonani. Where do I start? Please join me as I call upon the Spirit of God, the Spirit somveli nqangi, umdali wethu, ukuthi naye abe khona phakathi kwale ndawo. Sibemeze nazo izihlwele zethu zonke zalapha eAfrika. Sizawumemeza nazo izihlwele zethu omama abayilwelayo inkululeko kwilizwe lonke eAfrika liphela. Simemeze namaqhawe abaleleyo basondele ngeneno. What we're going to be praying for is just for the Spirit or the Holy Spirit to be with us, to guide us in all the deliberations that are going to take place in this conference, so that whatever we think, whatever we do, we should be guided by the highest wisdom. Camagu. Camagu shakuni nalonke izihlwele. Dunqula khona phakathi engetheni. Dimemeze nakhona emzini omkhulu. Dimemeze kuku abantu abaleleyo. Thithi sicela ukuthula phakathi kwendawo. Dimemeze imbombozelo zomhlaba. Thithi bonke abaqhawe aseyilele. Thithi nawo mawavuka sondele. Sicela bona bonke ukuthi ze basikhokhele ngaphambili. Ithi konke sikucingayo nesikuthethayo ibeke kokusuka kubo. Singabashiya ingemva abantwana abaleleyo nabo abafaya ngamaxesha enkululeko. Sithi nayo imimoya yabo elela ukuthula, sithi nayo mayisondele. Sicela simemeze nakuye nomdali. Sithi nayo makasikhokhelele kube besehleli phakathi kwale ndawo. Sibulelana kubo bonke nomama, asibilana amadlozi asaphilayo abantu abakhona phakathi kwale ndawo. Sithi bonke mabasondele ngeneno. Sicela ipeace, sicela imvula, sicela wisdom, sicela health elizweni iAfrika yonke iphelele. Camagu. Ndawo share. Thokozani, siyabonga.
Siyabonga kokuvela. Ngiyabonga mama. You can leave it, it's fine. Ladies and the gentlemen that are here, we acknowledge you. We understand that the UN Woman has launched a campaign that says he for she. And it is important that when we have discussions like this, we have the men also in the room that are here to listen from a female perspective as well. In line with what has just happened right now, talking about our forefathers and foremothers and invoking that spirit, I would like to welcome you again to AfWID, to a conference that is going to talk about the woman's voice and power as agents of change. Ladies, do you realize that as you're sitting here, you are writing the story of the African woman? 1,000 women from all 55 African countries are seated here. Let me take you back. 1884, there was a conference that said to us as Africans that we are not one. But as we sit here, united as African women, we are reclaiming this unity in our voices. One of the objectives of the African Women in Dialogue is that we have a united voice as African women. We, sitting here, are saying in the year 2019 that 1884 is not going to tell me about a border. It's not going to tell me that my sister sitting next to me is not an African. We are Africans. We will unite, and we are united as we stand here. So, ladies and gentlemen, understand that as you sit here because you are meant to be here. You are meant to tell your story. You are meant to bring your experience. You are meant to bring your voice. It is not about position at AfWID. It is not about title. It is not about race. It is not about class. It is not about anything that causes division amongst us. We are here to reclaim who we are as African women. We are here to birth a unity. Last year it was 16 countries. Today it's 55. You have to understand the enormity of that. I want you to look at the person next to you and say to them, I'm a history maker. I can't hear you. I said, I'm a history maker. I said, I am. Because every one of you sitting here, whether you're a farmer, whether you're a domestic worker, whether you're an activist or a journalist, or even a former president, as you sit here, you're an African woman. Yes. Oh, what a joy it is to be in this space with all these immaculate women that understand that there is no longer time for us to take the back seat. It is time for us to put up our hand and say, Africa, we are going to get you right. Africa, we are going to do what? We're going to get you right. And that's why we're here. It's a defiance of 1884. And we see each other as one. Thank you. I'm now going to call on Advocate Mojanku. One of the things that the dialogue tries to do is we try and look at practical issues that are happening on the continent. So when we thought about our welcome address, we thought about this pioneer woman because she has practicalized Agenda 2063 when it says the aspiration by 2020, we are going to silence the guns. You will see when I read her credentials that she has done a lot of peacekeeping work, very much in line with the UN Security Council resolution of 1325. Ladies and gentlemen, a human rights giant who has participated in a lot of peacekeeping missions across the continent.
Hello, 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 hello. Let's keep the energy going, Jambo. Bonjour. Bon dia. Salam alaikum. Habari ya asubuhi. Ladies, we are here. Let's keep the energy going. Let's just stand up and really clap for ourselves. Come on. Let's stand up. We are here. I see you, Ethiopia. I see you, Burundi. I see you, Kenya. I see you, Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is the energy that we are used to when women come together. Thank you very much. Mine is a very short intervention. This conference is about you. So let me start. Karibuni madada zangu. Msiwe na hofu lolote kwa sababu huku ni nyumbani kwenyu kama makao yoyote hapa Afrika. Bienvenue en Afrique du Sud. I am honored to welcome you to the 2019 edition of the African Women in Dialogue. On behalf of the trustees and the dedicated staff of the Zanele Mbeki Development Trust, who are permanently thinking about ways of improving the lives of African women throughout the continent and beyond. The African Women in Dialogue platform belongs to all of us. The usual rules of protocol don't apply here. As you heard, we are making and creating our own rules. You have already heard from the program director that there is no NGO, no government, no minister, nothing. We are all here, we own this platform. But it would be amiss of me not to acknowledge and recognize the effort, I said the effort, of our volunteer-in-chief, our biggest cheerleader, and the woman who has never taken her eyes, not once, off the cause of women's empowerment, Zanele Mbeki. Bienvenue à votre plateforme. La plateforme que nous avons créée vous appartient à tous. Nous espérons que vous l'utilisez pour libérer votre voix et exprimer votre pouvoir. Merci beaucoup de nous honorer de votre présence. Estamos muy contentes como vos visitar. This is probably one of the most important gatherings to take place, certainly in South Africa this year. We've brought together over 1,000 women from all 5 regions of the African continent to discuss challenges faced by African women and therefore by the continent as a whole. As you've heard, we hosted our first platform last year. Mainly participants from SADC attended and a few from outside SADC. It is not an easy undertaking to bring all of you together. You know how difficult it was. That's why I asked you to applaud yourselves. There were challenges. We have a very small team from the Zanele Mbeki Development Trust. We know there were challenges with visas. This country is not very friendly to us, all of us. There were challenges with transport. There are challenges still with communication. But we are so, so happy and excited that you are here. You made it. As I've said, we work with a very small team. But we depend so much on the many young people that have volunteered their time to be with us. I would like all the volunteers, wherever you are, to stand up or wave or something. All our volunteers. Thank you. Woo, 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 woo. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can never thank you enough. These young people give of their time free. Some of them have taken time off school and university to be with us and help us. I should say that, as fate would have it, our team is a little weaker this year because just over 2 months ago, death robbed us of one who gave us so much energy, even as she was dealing with her own challenges. I ask that we please rise and observe a moment of silence in honor of our sister Tandine Lobu and all the others that we are not aware of that have passed. May her soul and all of the others rest in peace. Thank you. Our continent faces many challenges, ranging from poverty, underdevelopment, unemployment, and gendered social inequity. This bleak landscape exists side by side with an abundance of wealth in vast oceanic resources, innumerable precious metals in the inland, and for the most part, land that has never been farmed since the dawn of creation. This is exacerbated by the fact that some of our countries still face deadly conflict, which takes the lives of innocents and results in the displacement of civilian populations, mostly women and children, as we know. Especially noteworthy is that these conflicts are often started by men who are too old to do the fighting themselves, and in most cases, too secure to be personally affected by this conflict. For us, this underscores the need to pose difficult but necessary questions about, one, the formulation and practical implementation of policies for peace, governance frameworks that support and promote peace, economic development, and greater social justice, with Africa's resources at the center of the achievement of these goals. We have to ask difficult but necessary questions about the pedigree of leadership that the continent needs to achieve peace, governance framework for peace, economic development, and social justice. What kind of leaders do we need for that? And most of them are in this room. We have to ask the difficult but necessary question to affirm the women's voice as a catalyst for change. We have to ask those difficult questions about the overall coordinated role and African sisterhood, solidarity, we as women must discharge in this regard. This suggests that by the end of our 4-day meeting, we should come out with clear commitment towards the realization of the objective of an Africa free from hunger, wars, the waste and wanton theft of resources meant for her children. To a large measure, we do not need to reinvent the wheel, as much of the policy framework already exists. We know about the African Union Agenda 2063. We know about Resolution 1325. We know about the Sustainable Development Goals. So there is a framework that can guide us. But we as women, it is our duty and our right and our honor to shake that framework. As Bob Marley once said in his song, "Who feels it, knows it, Lord." As the majority of the citizens of our continent who bear the brunt of much of the problems of poverty and underdevelopment, we, the women, cannot but be central to the implementation of these policies and programs. We have to monitor their implementation or non-implementation, and we have to raise our collective voice, not only in protest at non-implementation, but at how the implementation must be undertaken for the good of the peoples of the continent. I want to say again, as we have heard already, no view is wrong or incorrect. No view. Please feel free to express yourself without self-censorship. If we express differences of opinion, as I'm sure we will, it is because we want to emerge with a view and a program which resonates with the experiences of the large majority of women across the continent and to impact positively on their lives. One cannot emphasize this point enough. Please, we are here to learn from each other and together to find solutions to common African challenges and problems which require many, many minds and many voices, especially the voice of women. When I attended my first AfWID, the South African version of this, I was a little skeptical. You know, I come from a rural area, a little reserved, and then I chose the worst profession of all, law, which makes you very, very reserved. The good thing is that when I attended that first AfWID meeting, I allowed myself to immerse myself in the process, immerse. I've never regretted that. I urge you to please immerse yourself in this program, all of it. You will not regret it. As I've said, we've tried our best to put together a very stimulating program. We will not be human if we did not make mistakes, and there will be, I hope there will be a few, not too many, but please bear with us. We have this amazing team of young people to look after you. I want to say, lastly, that we must remember that we are descendants of great warrior women. We are descendants of great warrior women. Taitu in Ethiopia went to war to protect the sovereignty of Ethiopia. Asante Wa in Ghana went to war to protect the sovereignty of the Ashanti nation in Ghana. Queen Zinga in Angola went to war to fight for the safety and sovereignty of Angola. Queen Nandi in South Africa was the biggest strategist in the war against the colonizers in KwaZulu-Natal. We are descendants of great women warriors. Many others that I have not mentioned. So today and over the next few days, we must commit to going to war. We are going to go to war against war. 2020, we have to silence the guns by 2020. We have to go to war against poverty. It is so unnecessary. We have to go to war against underdevelopment. We have to go to war against patriarchy. We have to go to war against the double standards that are applied to women. Men get away with murder, literally. Men are not judged by the same standards that we are judged with. Women leaders are shamed about how they look, how they speak. And we have men occupying positions of leadership which they not only do not deserve, but they have no idea about what to do about that. We are descendants of warrior women. Let us take it upon ourselves. We have to exercise our own agency. We can't wait and say somebody else is going to do it. We have to do it. From our homes, from our communities, in the schools, in the parliaments, in government, we have to question these double standards. I want to thank the staff of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation. We operate on, I think, 4 members of staff, at most 5. I really want to thank them. Please give them some energy. They are exhausted. They are exhausted, but they are still on their feet. And that energy would help them a lot. All I was asked to say is to say to you, welcome home. This is your home. Nobody must tell you anything else. Africa is our home, all of us. Now, I always say I'm going to end. I should say that, we bring ourselves into this room and into this conference. I will tell you one story before I sit down. Last year, we had a few challenges, but one of them just tells you about how we women bring ourselves into the space we occupy. So some of our sisters managed to smuggle some boyfriends into the rooms. and I remember people were like, oh my God, what's going on? I was like, well, it wouldn't be us if we didn't do that. So this is home. You are allowed to be yourself in your fullest glory. In your fullest glory. And it could be a boyfriend, it could be a girlfriend, it could be anyone. In your fullest glory. Ladies and the gentlemen who are just service providers today, welcome home. Welcome to South Africa. Shukran. Merci. Obrigado. Thank you. Asante sana.
Let me tell you something. 60% of the participants are grassroots women. Of that 60%, there's 50% of us that are youth. So when our keynote speaker stands up and cracks a joke like that, I don't know whether to laugh or pretend I didn't hear it. Thank you so much, Advocate. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me now as we are going to play a short video from none other than the United Nations Under Secretary General and Executive Director of UN Women, Mamphumzile Mlambo-Ngqaku, who was also actually the only female and the first female to ever hold the deputy president position in South Africa.
Greetings to all of you sisters in this African Women's Dialogue. Thank you so much to Mrs. Zanele Mbeki for facilitating this excellent convening for African women and for all the work that she has been driving, enabling women to dialogue within South Africa, but now even beyond South Africa. I want to highlight the fact that you are meeting on the eve of a very important year, 2020, where we will mark the 25 years of the adoption of the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. We will be marking the 20 years of the Security Council Resolution 1325, 40 years of CEDAW, and of course, we're just coming out of ICPD, which this year will also turn 20. A lot has happened since the adoption of the Beijing Declaration and the Platform for Action, and yet not a single country has achieved gender equality. That is why in 2020, we are calling for civil society to work together with government, but to lead a process, if I may emphasize, that must galvanize even a faster pace towards gender equality. And we are convening 2 forums called Generation Equality. One forum will be in Mexico, where we will look at how we can ensure that the gaps that we are looking at that are delaying gender equality can be closed by us working together in a consolidated way, forming what we call action coalitions, through which we must deliver significant change. In Mexico, in May, between the 7th and the 8th of May 2020, we will be deliberating about how and what these coalitions can work. And then we will facilitate further consultation around the world with civil society and of course with other partners in order to make sure that we all can endorse these action coalition and the issues that we are choosing as the issues that are the real pillars of patriarchy and the issues that at this point of our struggle are really standing in front of us and making it difficult for us to move forward. We will then congregate again in July from the 7th and the 10th of July in Paris, in France, in order to then announce the completion of this process of forming these action coalition, which will combine what is outstanding work in the implementation of the Beijing platform and also what needs to be done in order for us to realize the vision 2030 that the SDGs are supposed to facilitate. We're going to need you to contribute to this so that this is meaningful. We're going to need you to make sure that together we identify what success should look like, especially between 2020 and 2025, where we want these coalitions to really push and accelerate the change that is otherwise very slow and very uneven. But we must also say, since Beijing, so many of you did so much work. And that is why today we are able to even stand on our 2 feet, stand on the shoulder of many of you and look at the future that we want. We expect that coming out of Paris is going to be a more formidable fight to end violence against women, to address harmful cultural practice that impact on women and girls, to address the exclusion of women in leadership and to promote effective participation, to address the issue of and the burden of care that impacts on so many women in all parts of the world, to also address the issues of women, peace and security. So these are some of the issues that we expect will come out of these discussions that we are having and the discussions that you are having right now in this dialogue. In Africa, the African Women's Leadership Network is another platform for us to discuss and to dialogue with one voice so that when we go back to our countries, we have the same messages that we can give to our governments. So we look forward to the deliberations that you are having. We look forward to see you in CSW, where we will also be discussing Beijing 25 and all the other anniversary. We also look forward to see you in Mexico and in France, but also in Africa. Because Generation Equality Forum will be in Mexico and in France, we are also creating opportunity for satellite events in Africa and in Asia specifically. One in South Africa and one in Senegal for Africa, where you can also congregate at the same time as when the forum will be taking place in Paris, in order to also galvanize the support in Africa. We ask you to watch the space as we share the details of how we could make sure that those of you who will not go to Paris are also able to meet in Africa. But of course, we expect many of you to come to Paris as well as to go to Mexico. And especially, we want and we need young people to come, to be visible, to participate, and that way we create a new generation of activists who are just as strong and sometimes stronger than what we have been in the last 25 years. Thank you very much and all the best for the dialogue.
So, who's going to Mexico? Woo! So how do you say hi in Mexico? They speak Spanish. Hola. Huh? I think we're ready. AfWID Secretariat, hello. Mexico, yeah? Ladies, that was a beautiful message and a reminder of how far we've come and how far we still have to come. What I like about what she said, though, and what I like about today, is that as we sit here, you do realize that this is a platform that has been convened by us, Africans, on African soil, paid for by Africans. So, this is me being naughty. Who runs the agenda today? Yes, it's us. So thank you to AfWID for creating this platform where us as Africans can and will always convene ourselves. And we will run the agenda of the day. Yes? Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I would like to bring up Miss Edita Ucheng. She is an amazing woman. Karibu sana, Miss Ocheng. Walk, because you are here.
The thing that motivated me to come in this space, it is because I was defiled, and it was 2 times. First, I was 6 years old, and when I was 16 years old, I was also gang raped. When we isolate sex, it comes later with SGPV, because we are being violated, but we are not allowed by the community to speak about sex-related issues. If Editor is not in Kibera today, people cannot react to some of these issues. So I said, no, let me fill the gap by building more leaders.
Ladies and gentlemen, I talked about the practical aspect of this event. This phenomenal woman, young woman that's in front of you, is going to practicalize Aspiration 6 of Agenda 2063, where she's going to talk about the role that women can play in this continent, because she's practically done it. Further to that, in line with what Mam Phumzile just said, she's also going to touch on the Beijing Platform of Action in terms of the concerns of women and health, and some of the work that she does around women's rights and sexual reproduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Editor, karibu sana. Yes.
Let me look at everyone. I don't know where to start, actually, but this is a great day, and I want to say good morning, African women. And before I start, I just want to teach you some small chant. If I say, African women in the front line, and then you respond, agitate, organize, educate, liberate, but we're saying with power, right? African women in the front line. African women in the front line. Women power. Women power. Okay, thank you so much. My name is Edith Adhiambo. I was born in Kenya in a place called Kibera. It's one of the biggest slums in Africa. And I was really privileged to be born there because I've learned a lot. It was a big lesson for me. And today here I am to protect our rights as women and also just to build on our voices to end gender-based violence and all violence against grassroots women and all women. First of all, I would want to appreciate African Women in Dialogue because this was a dream, and today my dream came true. In 2018, I was following on the social media, and I was asking myself, am I going to work in South Africa? But they made it possible by just getting us here. After 5 hours, we are in South Africa from Kenya, and we're really privileged. And also, I just want to appreciate everyone who is here, plus the protocol. I don't know who is in the house, but I want to appreciate the effort of just coming here. And as editor, I'm not working alone. I work with young women from Kibera, and they're here. Wherever you are, kindly. I'm Keniju. Okay, remain standing. I don't work alone. And when we speak about women power and the voices as agents of change, those are those women. These women you are seeing here, they're really powerful. These women have done amazing things in Kibera. We've done things that some people, they've put their life in danger just to protect women in Kibera. We've arrested the perpetrators, and to us that is power. Because when we go to the police station, they ask us for money, and we don't have money. Every day, in the night, in the day, they're always there for other women. I wake them every day in the night, and they're always there for other women. And for me, it comes with solidarity, and that is so powerful. So for the AfWID and also women politicians who are here, I'm really happy because personally, I'm running as the next member of parliament in Kibera constituency. Thank you. It has been so challenging, but looking at the history of African women, an African woman who was really oppressed for a long time, and the only way to make our dreams come true is to get in the policy-making tables and make our dreams to come true. Sometimes, like the patriarchal notion, feels that it is impossible, but every day I wake up in the morning, I do real politics with them. I invest in politics, and sometimes we say with my team, we know where we are going to position ourselves, but it doesn't matter. It is pushing every day and making it possible, but it couldn't be possible without these two women. I want to appreciate them before this congregation. Politics is challenging, and I've seen different perspectives on the other side as a voter and now as a candidate. I think Martha Karua, our Honorable Martha Karua, is in the house. Kindly appreciate this woman. She's really done a lot of things. She's a woman whom I watched when I was young. I was 9 years old, and I was asking my father why he couldn't vote Martha Karua. And I've seen Martha Karua's struggles in me. I was not seeing it until I ran as a member of parliament. Thank you so much for mentoring me. Without your knowledge, we appreciate you. And it's also a privilege just to stand in front of you. And there is this woman called Mildred Ngesa. Uko wapi? Mildred Ngesa from Femnet. Saida. And to be sincere, I'm standing before you because of these two women. Look at my face. I'm really beautiful and shining because of these two women. From my first day in politics until we are voting next week on Thursday, I'll be going back to Kenya. It is because of these two women. They call me daily in the morning. These women have invested in me. They've invested in my hair my clothes, and even my speech, going to that extent. And I really want to appreciate them. So, Beijing plus 25. I'm 31 years old. When Beijing came in Africa, or in the world rather, I was 6 years old. But sometimes I ask myself a lot of questions. Because for me, Beijing in the grassroots will mean a lot to the world, and we are going to bring a lot of change. If women are still raped in Kibera or anywhere in Africa, why should we celebrate Beijing plus 25? If I can't afford food as a young woman who has 2 children and also a single mother, tell me the reason why I should celebrate Beijing plus 25. Tell me the reason why we go to CSW if all these things cannot be implemented. And as you have seen my video, yes, I was defiled when I was 6 years old. At 16 years old, I was also gang raped by 3 men. One of them was my relative, and then the other one was my neighbor. I was pregnant at the age of 16 years old. I went for unsafe abortion. It shattered my dreams. But to that, I had to come back. I had to bring the pieces of my life together. I didn't want it to happen to any other woman where I come from. All these women you've seen standing before you, some of them are survivors like me. I had to talk to bring all these women together and ask them one question. Do you want it to repeat to other young women? And then they said no. And that I started smiling because I knew I was building a strong movement, a movement that had a vision, and the vision was to end sexual and gender-based violence in Kibera. And today, when you come in Kibera, yes, girls and women are still being raped, but what I love about it, they come out and speak about it. And the same question goes, do you want it to happen to another woman? And all of them says no. So we have a big foundation, and it's a really bold foundation. These women are really powerful. And yeah, we are taking Kibera, and Kibera is meeting the world today. So another thing also, just questioning power in Africa. For me, power is a freedom of expression. Just to come here and speak, just to come here and talk about my things, that is power to me. And I think every woman in Africa will need that. Freedom of choice. Everyone, we come from different diversity. Yes, we are all women. That is what we assume when we come here. Some of us don't identify as women, but yes, we have similar organs. Where do we place them if we discriminate them in women movement? So for me, how I am, how I look like, if it is going to be respected outside there, then women movement will be powerful and it will be progressing. And also, just in Africa, a simple term, a term of saying no. In Kibera, I give women hope and power. And the power that I give these women is the power to say no. Living under patriarchal society, a woman is expected every day to say yes, 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 yes. When I realized that, I started pushing our girls to say no. And for us, no has been a powerful speech. Every day we learn to say no. When I started saying no, I made a lot of enemies, from my family to the community. I was an enemy at some point with my father because I said, no, I'm not going, you cannot force me with your cultures. I told my brother, no, you cannot force me with your religion. So making people uncomfortable in the community just by the term of saying no, for me, is powerful. Thank you so much for listening to me. This was a really privileged moment, and I'm really honored to stand in front of you. Women power. African women in the front line. African women in the front line. Agitate, organize, educate, liberate. The last time. African women in the front line. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow, isn't she just a powerhouse? You know, in my work as a speaker and a strategic advisor, I've been to about 19 African countries. And when you talked about your father not voting for you, 2010, I was in Kenya. And I kid you not, a whole gynecologist who was a woman said, I'm not voting for Raila because he's not circumcised. So I completely understand you, and we wish you all the best. One day, you won't be the people's president, you'll be the nation's president. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask for the Wits Choir to give us a song. But this song needs us to stand up. It needs us to dance. It needs us to release. Because as Africans, we know that music is very close to our hearts. It releases something that nothing else can release. So ladies, please get on your feet. Get on your feet. Go in the passages. Come to the front. Let us celebrate everything that we are. Let us celebrate that today we are history makers, that we have been chosen to be here today. So don't be shy. Even if you've got two left feet like me, it's dark there, nobody can see you. I'm telling you, I'm standing up here. Get into the mood. Give it to us. Thank you.
Sizongena lapha emzini, 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 Shoot!
Thank you so much. In my language, we'd say Raleboga. Ndiyabonga. Oh, asante sana. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely. It touches you. Ngaphakathi, inside, at the bottom of your soul. And that's what we should do. This is what happens when Africans convene themselves. we talk very serious issues, and then we engage ourselves. Because as a human being and as a woman, we have to be complete. We're not one without the other. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to come back and do a closing, but this is the last speaker, but not a speaker as much as a facilitator. Maboni is a wonderful, wonderful human being. Spirit-led woman. She's a facilitator for access to healing and transformation for women who experience violence. As part of this, she has created and co-founded Lesaka la Basadi. So for those of you that don't understand, because this is my mother tongue, Lesaka la Basadi is like a kraal, a sacred kraal for women. That is the name that she chose for her organization. It's a solidarity circle of women consciously healing and transforming self. I looked at what Prof. Pumla Gola said about you, and I thought there's no better way to introduce you. She said, Mamboni is an activist. She's a freedom fighter. She's a feminist leader. She's a movement builder and an icon. Please take the stage.
Dumelang. Sanbonani. Kwaheri. Where are the Swahili people speaking? I was told that, eh? Shall we just do greetings in our different languages this side? As many as possible. Hi. I know hi is not ours. Avari. Mzuri. Okay, since you can't keep up to that one, there's a word that resonates with my being, and it should resonate with the being of every being sitting here, and that is the word peace. So I'd like to hear as many words for peace as possible around the room. We just say them all together. Khotso, amahoro. Okay. You've had many beautiful words on the stage. All mine are exhausted over the decades, so I prefer more to do than to speak. I heard the first speaker say, "Welcome home." I heard a second one say, "She is lucky she is youth." There's so many percentage of youth in the room. I wonder where she was when all these children that are in this house entered this house. All of us are going to be children today and half of tomorrow. All of us were once born innocent, peaceful, loving, and in awe of everything that we saw around us. We started to learn to walk, we started to learn to crawl, and we started to learn to speak. Somewhere on that journey, we were damaged. Somewhere on that journey, we forgot that being that little inner child that we held. So don't mind her. She can stay in her youth. We are going to be children. But we invite her to come along with us and be children together. So, the welcome that I'd like to do, Mojanku said, welcome home. I am saying, welcome home to yourself. In our struggles, whatever they are, today I shall mention feminist struggle, the struggle to free women, and all other struggles. We inherited a patriarchal way of doing things, which was the abuse of voice and the abuse of our power. We went into wars. We rationalized the wars. We called them wars of freedom, wars of whatever, wars that are necessary, just wars, and whatever they are. Whatever they were, they damaged us. And women are always the ones that are on the bottommost rung. When these wars happen, patriarchy happens upon us. Men of the enemy see us as goods that they should use to upset men of our home. Men of our home see us as the property they should tremble on because they believe they own us. And they say, our women. Can we free ourselves today and say, I am my own woman? So we are not anybody's our women. I am my own woman. So what we invite you to do in the next 1.5 days is to really loosen up. Be yourself. Find the inner child within you and open yourself up to just absorb that inner child. Find the inner child who is promising from this moment when I stand here, that when I go into a struggle with my sisters, I am not going to be throwing stones at them. Be they stones that are verbal, be they stones that are emotional, be they stones that are stones, be they stones that are sticks, and stones that are anything else. So, my quest in life is that at whatever age I shall depart this world, I would love to have contributed to making feminism an act of love. And it is the beginnings of that love that we are going to create together in the next 1.5 days. What more can teach us about love than the child, that innocent child? So it is an invitation to find yourself as that innocent child that is within you. There is a light that is burning within you, within each one of us here, that is saying, please free me to love. Free me to stop acting from fear and act from love. Because there are just those two in the world. And many of us operate very much from fear. And all of us operate between the two. We do a dance between the two all the time. So the invitation is very short. We are going to There are sisters, 50 of them. Volunteers were mentioned here. There are 50 volunteers at the back of the room. Maybe they exist, maybe they can stand and wave so that I know that they are here. So those 50 volunteer women are going to facilitate a group, they are going to facilitate a process in 40 rooms or 40 groups. Some of those groups have amalgamated, so they may not become 40. And they are going to lead you into exercises that are going to help you to revisit the inner being, to concentrate on yourself and be that child. They are going to be using different modalities. Just play along, please. Play along, free yourselves. Mujangu invited you to free yourselves and be yourselves, and I'm adding to that, and I'm saying let's start this minute to do so. So each one of us came today, those to whom it is available to stand up, please may I invite you to stand up. May I invite everybody who has the ability to stand up to please stand up. May I invite you to extend your left hand as a receiving hand. And on the left hand of your neighbor, put your right hand. So the left hand is receiving, the right hand is giving. Okay, in silence, please, so that we can be fast before they chase us out. I said I would be short, but yay, as the years gather, we become as long as them in speech. Okay, could I have some silence, please, I request? With you holding hands like that, to those to whom it is available, I invite you to close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I request that you set an intention for yourself. What do you want to create in this moment, starting from now, throughout the 1.5 days, and more importantly, throughout the whole dialogue of the week? What is it you want to create for yourself? For we create our own realities. Name it for yourself, what you want to create for yourself. In some ways, it could be, why are you here? You are in search of something, and that something that you are in search of actually resides in you. So name that intention for yourself so that you can walk with that intention throughout the week. From when we get off the stage, throughout the week, walk with that intention. And that intention, I invite you to extend it to the world outside. So you are extending it through the whole sisterhood here that is joining hands. You are extending your single intention to all of us. And as you do that, it becomes our own and everybody's intention. All the 1,000 women in the room have multiple intentions that build up into one intention with which we are going to create this world, and is spilled out to the whole world. And we summon whatever powers that you rely on that help you, that give you the strength from where you draw strength to build yourself. And you summon whatever power, however you name it, and you walk with it, and that will help you to create your reality for the rest of the workshop and for the rest of wherever you want to take it. Until you arrive in your country, our country, for Africa is all mine, and until wherever you want to expand it. Whenever you are ready, I invite you to look first to your left and see your sister and say, I see you. Right. Okay. Grab the sister next to you, look at her like this, and say, Sister, I see you. Sister, I promise you I love myself. Because I love. And in that loving mode, I love you. Thank you.
Wow. I told you. An icon, a healer. Thank you, Mamboni. Another round of applause for that amazing soul. I have another couple of announcements. And while she's making her way up so that we can just have one last chant, there's a cell phone that has been lost. If you don't tell me the PIN number, I'm going to take it, wipe it, and make it my own. So please, at the back there, why are you guys waving? Huh? Oh, the owner's there. Okay, can the owner please come and unlock it? The walk of shame. And then the international media, the Tiwani, please stand up at the corner there on that side of the room. Please, international media, please register with her. We're not censoring anything. We just want to make sure that we actually, if there's any media briefings and so forth, that you also have, come say hi to everyone. Look at how gorgeous you look. Do you want to unlock it? Oops. All that pressure, huh? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor to stand before each and every one of you. I am honored to have been given the opportunity to run this session, to also put in my little 2 cents towards the history of African women convening themselves. I would like to say that it is very symbolic that we meet in South Africa, because South Africa hosts the southernmost tip of this continent, which means that as we disperse and get into our planes and go to North Africa and go to East Africa, as we go to West Africa, Central Africa, our voices will start from here and rise. It is that that I want you to remember. And I also want you to question why AfWID has said 55 African countries instead of 54. Because we recognize everyone. And everyone is welcome. Because there are women sitting here from the East. Kenya, are you here? You can do better than that. Morocco, are you here? Ethiopia, are you here? Nigeria, are you here? Western Sahara, are you here? Malawi, are we here? Ladies, if I was to call each and every one of you, I would spend the next hour here. I love you all, and I want you to remember that just like Queen Nzenga, who traveled to the colonial master to go use her voice to sit and look at the colonial master in the eye, just like Queen Nzenga, we are her blood. Her blood is my blood. It's your blood. Use your voice. Use your voice, ladies. Let it come from South Africa and let it rise. I thank you.